Let's talk about impulse control. It's something we're all trying to get better at, right? But it's not some switch you can just flip on. Nope. It's a skill we build over our entire lives. It's a journey, really, from those first childhood instincts to hopefully more thoughtful adult intentions. So, how do we get from being a toddler who just has to reach for that shiny hot stove to an adult who can actually pause, think, and choose a better path? Well, let's dive in.
Come on, you know the feeling. We've all been there. That split second where you blurt something out or you click buy now on something you totally don't need, or maybe you just react in a way that moments later you're thinking, that wasn't me. And that feeling, that's exactly what we're going to get into today. That constant tug of war between what you want to do right now and what you know you probably should do. You know, life is just one choice after another, like a path with a million different signs. But here's the thing. The real tricky part isn't those big, life-changing decisions we spend weeks mulling over. Nah, it's the impulsive ones. The ones we make at a heartbeat that can totally shape our day, our relationships, and sometimes even our own safety. So, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get a handle on that sudden urge. Then, we'll look at our very first lessons in control, which are all about safety. After that, we'll see how regret becomes a pretty powerful teacher as we grow up. Then we'll get into the good stuff, the 3 key pillars for really mastering your mind. And finally, we'll wrap up with why this whole thing matters so much for all of us. Okay, first things first. Before we can even think about controlling our impulses, we gotta understand them. What are these sudden, super powerful urges that just seem to pop out of nowhere? Well, there's a really great way to frame this whole thing with one simple but powerful idea. And here it is, the big idea we're gonna keep coming back to: managing my mind. See, it's not about getting rid of impulses, because let's be real, that's impossible. Our brains are wired to have them. The real skill is about knowing how your mind works and developing the tools to guide it, instead of just letting it drag you along for the ride. All right, so where does this journey even begin? Let's go all the way back to the beginning. For a little kid, the world is this amazing, overwhelming place, full of things to touch, taste, and, let's be honest, run straight towards. So the first lesson in impulse control isn't about deep emotional stuff. It's about one very simple, very urgent priority. And that one thing is safety. Yep, that's it. The number one reason we first learn to put the brakes on our impulses is to keep from getting hurt. The lesson is super direct and the stakes are high. Don't touch that. Don't run there. Stop, because it's dangerous. And I love this slide because it shows you exactly what's happening. On one side, you've got these clear, obvious dangers, a glowing hot stove, a ball rolling out into a busy street. And on the other side, the simplest, most powerful tool an adult can give a kid, the command to just stop. Think of it like an external brake that someone else applies for us before we learn how to build our own. Okay, so here's the key takeaway, right? An adult yelling stop is just a temporary fix. The real goal, the whole point of it, is for that kid to eventually internalize that command, to build their very own mental stop sign so they can pause and think for themselves, keeping themselves safe and, out of trouble. But of course, as we get older, things get, well, more complicated. The definition of danger starts to change. It's not just about getting physically hurt anymore. Our impulsive actions start to have social and emotional consequences, and that introduces a whole new, really powerful teacher into the mix. This is where we start to get a name for what we're dealing with. An impulse. It's just that sudden wish or thought. It's basically a quick signal from the more ancient parts of our brain, the part that screams, I want that and I want it now. The real question is, what do we do with that signal? And right alongside that impulse comes its partner in crime, regret. That awful, sinking feeling in your gut, that wish for a time machine so you could just get a do-over. Regret is basically our brain's emotional feedback loop. It's the feeling that helps us learn, hopefully, to make a better choice next time around. And these examples, they're perfect. We're not talking about running into the road anymore. These are social mistakes. Shouting at someone, throwing a pencil because you're frustrated, pushing another kid on the playground. These things don't just get you sent to the principal's office. They make you feel bad, and they can really mess up your friendships. Okay, so this is where it all comes together. We've learned about physical danger, we understand that sting of emotional regret. Now it's time to start building a proactive toolkit of strategies. This is where we go from just reacting to life to actually consciously managing our minds. I mean, look at this. This comparison just lays it all out so clearly. You have the exact same event. Someone bumps into you, but it can go down two totally different roads. The impulsive road, that's pure reaction, anger, then aggression. But that stop and think road, it creates this tiny but absolutely crucial space. And in that little pause, you can see your impulse, choose not to follow it, and make a much better decision. So, the big question is, how do we actually build that stop and think muscle? This is where the front part of our brain, our own inner CEO, really earns its paycheck. And the strategies it uses can be boiled down to three core pillars, giving us a really practical game plan for getting better at this. Okay, pillar number 1, resisting temptation. This one is all about managing your environment, and honestly, it's kind of the easiest place to start. It's so simple, but so effective. Trying to focus? Put your phone in another room. Use tools like lists and alarms to keep your brain on track. And hey, when you do a good job, give yourself a little reward. You're basically setting yourself up for success. Next up, pillar 2, thinking before acting. Now, this is all about the work you do inside your own head. It's about consciously playing the tape forward, asking yourself, if I do this thing, what's going to happen next? It's about using that stop and think technique to create that pause. And super important, it's about knowing yourself, knowing which feelings like anger or stress are your personal triggers for doing something you'll regret. And finally, pillar 3, which really brings it all home, emotional regulation. This is about knowing your triggers so you can manage them, but it's also about not bottling everything up. Just talking about your feelings can release that pressure that leads to an outburst. And when you do mess up, because we all do, talking about it helps you turn that moment of regret into a real lesson for the future. Okay, so we've gone on this whole journey, right? From a little kid learning not to touch something hot, all the way to an adult juggling these super complex emotions. But when you boil it all down, why does getting good at this skill actually matter so much? And the answer is, because this isn't just about you. It's about us. That's the crucial point. Our own individual self-control has this ripple effect on everyone around us. Every single time one of us chooses to think before acting, to manage our anger, or to resist a bad temptation, we make the world just a little bit safer and a little bit happier for everyone. And really, that brings this whole thing right back to where it matters most, to you, right now. This isn't just some abstract idea. It's something you practice every single day. We all face dozens of these tiny little battles between our impulses and our intentions. So the real question to leave you with is, as you go about your day today, what impulse will you notice, and what thoughtful choice are you going to make instead?